A long time ago, a Roman Catholic poet by the name of Dante Alighieri wrote three divine comedies. These were Dante's Inferno, Dante's Purgatorio, and Dante's Paradiso. When he wrote these three great divine comedies, he used Christian beliefs alongside Roman and Greek mythologies while using the common tongue in order to appeal to the masses so that even peasants like you would be able to understand these great, great stories. The story that we will be looking at today is Dante's Inferno. This is the beginning of the journey as it follows Dante along with his guide Virgil as they travel throughout the 9 layers of hell in order to get to Paradiso, which is paradise in Latin, a symbolism for heaven. Now, throughout the journey, he is going to meet many famous and historical figures. Dante will come face to face with them, and he will come to know why they are in each layer of hell and how they are being tortured. So, without further ado, my name is Wraith from One Penny Thoughts. Let us begin the story. The story it begins in the year 1300 on a late evening of a Good Friday. Dante wakes up in the middle of a dark forest. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what time it is. He doesn't know how long it's been there. And he doesn't know what he's supposed to do there. All he knows is that he's alone, he's scared, he's feeling anxiety, and he's panicked because he has no one to rely on. However, far off in the distance, he sees a mountain. And behind this mountain, there is light coming from behind it. So Dante decides to head towards the light as he would not rather stay in this dark, lonely forest by himself. When he gets to the mountain, he begins to ascend it. But he comes across a lion, a cougar, and a she-wolf. Oh my. And being unable to face them, he becomes overwhelmed by having failed his mission. So he decides to descend down the mountain. As he descends down the mountain, there is a figure far off in the distance beginning to approach him. This figure becomes to be known as Virgil. He is another great poet of that era. He is the author of the Aeneid, not to be confused with the Iliad by Homer. Dante looks up to Virgil very much. Virgil inspired Dante's writing style, his personal beliefs, and his personal life. So when Dante is meeting Virgil, it's like a child meeting Spider-Man or you meeting your favorite celebrity. Now, why Virgil is working as a tour guide here, I'm not sure. I guess he just needs the money. Regardless of the fact, Virgil approaches Dante and he tells him, I can help you get to Paradiso, but you have to trust me, because in order to get to heaven, you have to go through hell. And Dante, still being in awe of Virgil, decides to go with him. So, as they head towards the Inferno, they reach the gates of the Inferno, and on those gates, there are words inscribed in stone that say this: Abandon all hope, you who enter here. If you turn back now, nothing will happen to you. But if you go forward, you will not be coming back. And if you do come back, you will not be coming back the same person ever again. Dante and Virgil decide to ignore this warning, and they head into the Inferno. As soon as they enter, they can tell that all hope feels lost. All hope is lost in their souls. All hope has left their bodies. All hope has left the air. All hope has left the sky. There is no sun in in the sky. There are no stars in the sky. There's just darkness. And in the air, you can hear the wails of the sorrowful souls that are stuck in the Inferno. As they descend further into the Inferno, they reach the anti-Inferno. This is where all of the fence sitters are. People that never took sides between good versus evil, between heaven versus hell, between Lucifer versus God, red versus blue, Xbox versus PlayStation, all of that. Here are people and creatures from even the beginning of time, such as the angels, that did not choose a side between Lucifer and God. Now they wait here in the anti-inferno, following a blank white banner because they have no colors of their own, as no side wants them now. In this area, there's wasps, there's hornets, there's snakes, there's bugs, and there's maggots chasing them for all time. And the only way to get out of this is to descend further into the inferno. Dante and Virgil, already having made up their minds, go past this layer easily until they get to the Lake of Akron. This is the Lake of Death, where they wait for the boatman to come. This boatman's name is Charon. He goes by many different names. Here we call him Charon. At first, he doesn't want to take Virgil and Dante across because Dante is still alive. But after Virgil talks to him, the boatman relents. So the boatman takes them across into the first layer of hell. This is the layer of limbo. Here is where all of the virtuous pagans live, people that weren't baptized in time, people that refused Christianity, people that were alive before Jesus Christ was born, people that were alive before Christianity was ever a thing. Here are people like Julius Caesar, Cicero, Virgil himself, and all of the Homers. They are in a gray field where they will walk forever without punishment, with their infinite knowledge, outside of the gates of heaven, never being able to enter because they couldn't be saved. Only people from the New Testament are able to enter heaven. So these guys is like me trying to go into the club, but the bouncer says no. It's just not gonna happen. The second layer of hell is the layer of lust. Dante deemed this hell the least sinful of them all. And in here are for people that indulged in their carnal desires. So people like Cleopatra, Helen of Troy, Paris, Achilles, they would all be here. Here, you will be stuck inside of a raging storm where your bodies will be easily swayed and thrown into the rocks. Just as your feelings were so easily swayed in the real world, so too shall your bodies be swayed in the afterlife of hell. And in the third layer is the layer of gluttony. In this layer is for people that indulged in all of their earthly desires. So all of the fatties who ate too much, drank too much, ate too many sweets, tried to look too fancy schmancy. This is where they would all end up. In here, it rains wastewater. It rains piles of debris. Here, wastewater is all the way up to your stomach. Here, you will feel like crap. You'll look like crap. You'll smell like crap. And you will be guarded by a three-headed demon dog called Cerberus. This is one mean puppy. If he sees you, he's gonna eat you up, spit you out, poop you out, tear you limb from limb. Whatever he wants to do to you, he will. And if he tears off a foot or an arm, that part will regenerate, and you will be forced to go through it all over again. The only chance you have of escaping him is to play dead or hope he doesn't see you. Then it'll be the fourth layer of hell. This is the layer of greed. Greed is divided into two sections: the hoarders and the spenders. With the hoarders, it's all about me. Me, me, me. They care too much about fame, power, and wealth. They value too much of their personal possessions. They don't want to give to charity. They don't want to help out their ma. They don't want to give you $5. Um, and the spenders, they spend their money too easily. They don't value their possessions at all. Um, they'll be asking you for the $5. If you let them borrow your lawnmower, you won't get it back for a full year. And when you do get it back, it'll be a different color. It'll be all beat up, and it won't even be your lawnmower. It'll be someone else's. Dante themed people like the Pope, the rich, the nobles, they would all be in this area. And every day, both sides have to roll big, heavy rocks up a hill. And then when they get to the top, the spenders will ask the hoarders, "Why do you hoard?" And the hoarders will ask the spenders, "Why do you spend?" Then they'll crash the rocks into each other, and the rocks will go tumbling down the hill, and they'll be forced to do it all over again. They'll do this without reprieve, without any rest, so no smoke breaks, no bathroom breaks, no lunch breaks, nothing. And they'll be forced to live in communion, where they'll be having to disagree on wasting and spending money all day long. Kind of like our modern world today, except our rocks are debates. After that, it will be the fifth layer. This is the layer of wrath. Here's where all of the hot-headed people go. People that want revenge, people that are too violent, people that are always picking up fights, the Debbie Downers, the stolen people. In this area, you will be under the river Styx. And even though it's called the river Styx, it's more of a black marsh or a swamp. But for this story, it's called the river Styx. So if you're inside of this layer, you will be forced to breathe and drown in the black marsh mud under the river. And if you want a little bit of fresh air, you have to claw and deface everyone around you and push everyone down just to push your way up. It's a very violent place and you do not want to be here. Then Dante and Virgil have to go into the lower layers of hell, the lower layers of the Inferno, as they have to get to the sixth layer, the layer of the heretics. But first, they have to enter the city of This. The city of This is guarded by the fallen angels. It is a giant city where the walls are covered in flames, the towers are covered in flames, and it's used to guard the heretics. Dante and Virgil try their best to go in, but the angels tell them no. Dante and Virgil try again to go in, but this time the angels are being kind of a-holes, and they tell Virgil, "We'll let you into the city, but if you come inside, you can never go back to Limbo. And you have to stay in this hell or in a different layer of hell. You have to give up your nice cozy spot if you want to help out your friend." And Virgil, wanting to help out Dante, agrees to these terms. He then goes inside the city of This, and the angels immediately close the gates. There, Virgil tries and tries and tries, but fails to open the gates. So being unable to open them, he goes back outside with Dante, because he doesn't want to leave Dante. He made a promise to Dante to get him out of the Inferno, and he will try that as much as he can. Now, as soon as he comes out of the gates, the angels close the gates again so that they cannot re-enter, and they start making fun of them. They start calling them stupid. They can't believe they did that. And as they're being mocked at, Dante and Virgil start panicking, they start becoming frightened, and Dante begins to doubt Virgil, even though Virgil has been the MVP of the entire journey, helping Dante out through all the journey's hard struggles. Now, because he failed once, Dante's doubting him, and Virgil is like, "Really, bro? I give up my nice cozy spot in limbo for you. I'm doing my best out here for you." And Dante's more like, "Well, I just feel like you could be trying harder." And in the middle of all this, three Furies from Greek mythology come from round the outside, and they summon the Medusa where Dante and Virgil are. And the Medusa is this hideous creature that used to be a beautiful woman, cursed by Athena. Now, her her once beautiful hair is made of snakes, and her eyes that could and make any man fall in love with her will now turn any man into stone that looks at her in the eyes. The Furies told Medusa to freeze Dante and Virgil so they could never leave the Inferno again. Before she could do that, though, an angel came from the sky and scared off the Medusa, scared off the Furies, reprimanded the fallen angels, and opened the city gates for Dante and Virgil. And then he turned around and went back home. It's not really explained too much why this happened, but I take it as symbolism, as no matter where you are, no matter how deep in hell you are, God will always find a way to help you. But back to the story. Dante and Virgil enter the city of Dis, and they enter the sixth layer, the layer of hell. This is the layer of the heretics. Here, the Epicureans live here, people that refuse Christianity, like Judaism, Islam, Scientology, um, all of those religions, self-appointed gods. Here they will be encased inside of a graveyard, and their coffins will be made of fire, where they'll be burning in hell for all eternity. Dante and Virgil easily get past this area, and they start going to the seventh layer, the layer of violence. But first, they must get across the Minotaur. This is a very powerful creature. He is part man, part bull, part dumb beast. And Virgil picks a fight with the Minotaur and asks it if he's guarding Theseus, because Theseus is the hero that killed him with violence. So the Minotaur does not like that one bit at all, because he feels like he's being mocked and he's being treated like a lapdog. So he begins to attack Virgil and Dante. And after using some Italian trickery, they trick the Minotaur and they're able to get past him, thus entering the seventh layer, the layer of violence. The layer of violence is divided into three circles. The first circle is the circle where it was committed violence upon others. The second one is violence upon oneself, and the third is violence upon God and nature. When you get to the circle upon violence upon others, they will be inside a lake of fire, where that lake will be guarded by Chiron and the centaurs. If they try to escape, they will be shot with bows and arrows, and they will be pushed back into the lake of fire, being unable to forever escape. People like Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, Hitler would be here because they enjoy causing great devastation and they enjoy causing pain upon others. The second circle is violence upon oneself. This is for people that committed suicide. Here because you chose to leave your bodies. You'll be turned into trees, and from your branches, your old body will be swinging from the branch, and you'll be forced to watch as your body is eaten by birds, by maggots, by animals, and as it decays and rots away, and the cycle continues over and over again for all eternity. Then it's violence upon God and nature. People like the people from the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, they would be here. People who thought they were better than God, people who committed acts of violence upon God, things like that. Then it would be the eighth layer. The eighth layer is the layer of fraud. Here are where people like the gamblers would be, sexual manipulators, um, the psychics, the self-help gurus, people who make their own money. So people like Logan Paul, the OnlyFans girls, the Twitch girls, they would all be here. And then we get to the ninth layer. This layer is the coldest, the deepest, and the darkest layer of them all. This is the layer of treachery and betrayal. Here in the middle of this layer is a frozen lake, where under the frozen lake are people that betrayed their god, people that betrayed their nation, and people that betrayed their religion. They are all under here. And above the frozen lake, encased in ice, is the biggest betrayer of them all, Lucifer, because he turned his back on God, he turned his back on upon his brethren, and he turned his back upon Christianity. So now he is the furthest away from God, the furthest away from religion, the furthest away from the light. And in his hands, he's got the three souls that he is forever torturing. Judas for having betrayed Jesus Christ, Brutus and Cassius for having betrayed Julius Caesar. When Dante and Virgil get to this layer, Virgil tells Dante to climb onto Lucifer and to get to the bottom of his feet. Once they do that, up becomes down, down becomes up, the world turns upside down, and Virgil tells Dante to climb to the other side, where they enter into Purgatorio and they leave the Inferno, thus ending our story. I hope you enjoyed the story. My name is Wraith from One Penny Thoughts. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you, and have a nice day.